Medellin doesn't ask for your attention anymore. It commands it. The city that the world once wrote off now draws architects, designers, and entrepreneurs who come to study what happens when a place decides, collectively, stubbornly, to reinvent itself through creativity. Cable cars replaced isolation, libraries replaced fear, and today, in the El Retiro district, the recently renovated MAM, Museo de Arte Moderno de Medellín, stands as the clearest symbol of what this city has become, a living intersection of tradition, design, and forward momentum. On the ground floor of that building, past the art books and through a quietly deliberate doorway, is a store that fits in a single room. But Tigre de Salon is not a small idea. 4 languages, 1 name, fashion, ceramics, jewelry, bags. 4 distinct categories operating under 1 roof, 1 name, 1 philosophy. Tigre de Salon is a Colombian creative brand that has built its identity around a single declaration: hacer bonito para hacer bien. Creating beauty to do good. The phrase sounds simple. What it means in practice is harder and more intentional. Every material, wool, plant fiber, leather, is sourced from regenerative farms. Every piece passes through the hands of indigenous and artisan communities across Colombia. Every object, by the time it reaches you, carries a traceable story. Where the material came from, whose hands shaped it, and what community that work sustains. We are attentive to every step of the process, the brand writes. From the birth of the material to its transformation, first into raw material, then into an object, and finally envisioning its thoughtful use over time. That's not marketing language. It's a supply chain philosophy. The map they hand you, walk into the store, and you may be handed a map, not a city guide, a hand-illustrated chart of Tigre de Salon's production network stretching from Medellin across the Colombian landscape. Mariana Leyva, who introduced us to the brand, describes it plainly. The map is how we show people where things actually come from. It's not abstract. These are real places, real communities, real relationships. The network runs deep. The ICU indigenous community of Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, one of the first communities TDS collaborated with, weaves alongside the brand's team in Agua Dulce and Nabusimaque. In La Guajira, near Cabo de la Vela, the Wayu women of the Pushana clan brought what the brand calls the fire and vibrant soul of their weaving tradition into the work in 2022. A carpentry workshop in Jardine produces pieces in oak. The Medellin headquarters, TDS Trades, anchors it all. We've been weaving together since 2018, the brand notes of its relationship with the ICU community. These are not seasonal collaborators, they are co-creators, a synergy of worldviews. The brand describes itself as una sinergia de cosmovisiones, a synergy of worldviews. It's a phrase worth sitting with. What Tigre de Salon is attempting is not fusion for aesthetics. It is a genuine dialogue between urban design thinking and indigenous craft knowledge, between the city's visual language and the community's lived relationship with material, land, and time. The created object sits at that intersection, so does the person who carries it. Mariana puts it this way: we're always open to new collaborations. What we hope is that more people approach this the way we do, with the community at the center, not as a backdrop. That distinction matters. In an era when artisanal has become a marketing category, Tigre de Salon insists on something more structural. The community is not the story. The community is the partner, the space as vehicle. The store itself earns attention, small, yes, but each element of the interior is deliberate. The objects on display don't compete with each other. They converse. A ceramic piece next to a woven bag next to a piece of jewelry, each from a different hand, a different geography, but unified by the same material honesty. Being inside MAM is not incidental. Tigre de Salon chose its location the way it chooses its materials, with intention. The museum's recently renovated spaces have made it a hub where fashion, performance, and design coexist. TDS occupies that context as naturally as a well-placed object in a well-considered room. What Medelli is saying, cities communicate through what they build and what they keep. Medelli has spent 2 decades building something worth keeping, a creative infrastructure that now attracts the kind of attention that once seemed impossible. Tigre de Salon is one of the clearest sentences in that story. It connects the Sierra Nevada to the Retiro district. It connects a YU weaver in La Guajira to a buyer in New York or Seoul. It connects the idea of beauty to the act of doing right. Creating beauty to do good is their line. But read from the outside, it also describes what Medelli itself is quietly becoming, a city that has decided those two things are not in conflict. bcd-W magazine. Note Tigre de Salon exemplifies what bcd-W magazine covers at its core. Local-to-local connections that carry global weight. Not a brand story about Colombia for outsiders, but a working model for how cities and communities can build together, and what that looks like when it's done with integrity. Tigre de Salon is located at MAM, El Retiro, Medellin, Colombia. tigredesalon.com. IG. Tigre de Salon, info and sales @tigredesalon.com bcd-W. Magazine covers technology, cities, and innovation through a city-to-city lens, connecting the Americas and Asia, one local story at a time.